Hello viewers, welcome to Info with Kevlar. I am Kevlar and I will be your host.
Excuse me, coming through. I'm Hazard the Animator and I'll be your host for today's video.
Like the title of this video says, we will be explaining the basics of animation for beginners. First, what is animation? Animation is the art of bringing to life an inanimate object or an illustrated 3D character. Or we can also say it's the process of projecting sequenced image quickly, one after the other, to create the illusion of life.
So just subscribe to our channel and like the video, then you can have more of the videos.
Now there are 5 types of animation, but we'll be focusing on 2D animation. Just in case you're wondering, 2D animation in a nutshell is just a flipbook, that is, drawing image in different page of a book and then flipping them fast enough to create the illusion of movement. But the flipbook method is so tedious and not ideal for making an animated movie. So how do we animate? Well, that's when animation software or apps comes in handy. Now a quick disclaimer, there are many animation apps out there for beginners. I would advise we use FLIPACLIP. Once you've installed FLIPACLIP in your phone from any source or app store, then you click it. Now once you click it, you see something like a plus sign. Once you click that plus sign, you added a new project. Now the first thing you need to do is give your project a name over there. That's where you have to give your project a name. And then after you finish giving the project a name, you could just go over to the background, choose any sort of background you want, and then after that, then you choose your project canvas size. Well, I actually use YouTube because that's the one I like using, YouTube 720px. But it's very important, especially if you want to upload the animation in any social media. Then after that, you have to look into choosing project frame per second. That's 12 fps. This means over here, you see the ball flipping, it means that I need 12 frames in 1 second. Now the more you reduce your frame per second, the more slow your animation is. As to say, you just use 6 flipbook in 1 animation. Now if you reduce it over to 2, you see, all you see is the one on top and the flat ball in the ground. It means that you actually just use 2 drawings in 1 second. So once you finish selecting all those, I usually use 12 frames per second to make your animation kind of smooth and fluid in nature. Well, back to the tutorial. First of all, I need a name. Let's just give it H and create. Now back to the tutorial. Well guys, this right here is the frame. This we see over here. This is the frame. This over here is the frame. Now whenever you want to add more frames, you just have to click over here and you're adding more frames. You adding more frames is just like adding more pages to your flipbook. So for you to be a good animator, you need to know much about frames, you need to know about layers, and then finally you need to know about the onion scan. Now for us to explain much about frame, how about we do it in a more realistic way.
Now we'll try to illustrate it with these 3 flips of paper, and each flip of paper will be our frames. This is our frame 1, this will be our frame 2, and this will be our frame 3. Now this is more like understanding the basics of frames. Now you see, I've already done it to frame 1, and then you drew a cycle on your frame 1. To make this cycle actually move, you need another frame, and that frame you have to animate, you have to draw on that frame another cycle, but that other cycle won't be in the same exact place the first cycle is. It will come somewhere below. But how will you know what to actually draw in the second frame when you can't even see the first frame when the second frame is on top of the first frame? Now this is where the onion scheme comes in. The onion scheme is just like something that will enable you to actually see your frame 1 and know where to redraw on your frame 2. And the onion scheme right now is just like this light bulb over here. Once you on it and then you put your frame 1, you see, this is frame 1. I don't know whether you can see it clearly. I need to reduce the brightness. Yes, this is it. Now this is actually the frame 1. Now once you take your frame 2 and drop it on top of the frame 1. Now if you do look closely, you can actually see frame 1. Can you see that cycle over there? This here is actually the frame 1. Now in order for you to animate on the second frame, you just have to go somewhere below frame 1 and draw another cycle. So this light over here is just like an onion skin. It actually helps us to know what's on frame 1 and then know how to animate on frame 2. You see? Now once you draw a cycle here in frame 1, draw another cycle in frame 2, you just want the cycle to be moving downwards when you're animating it. So that's where the third frame comes in. Now, so far that the light is on, you always see what's in the other frames. Now this is the frame 1 behind, frame 2 behind the frame 3, and this is also a frame 3, which is this empty black one here. You have to draw another cycle over here. Now this is the movement. Now look closely and then you see it's just 3 different flip books, one on top, one below, and then one almost touching the ground. Now how about we illustrate this using a phone?
Now we're on the phone. We are going to recreate what we did using those pieces of paper, or we could just call it Flipbook. Take a look over here. This is 1, 2, 3 frames. Now to redo that, we need a cycle. So the first cycle, remember, in that first Flipbook was on the top. So I do the first cycle on the top. Now I have to draw another cycle right below the first cycle. But I need to go over to frame 2 for it to become a good animation. But let's just say my onion skin weren't on. I see I'm in frame 2. How could I know what's in frame 1 when I'm in frame 2? Because frame 1 is behind frame 2. I can't see what's in frame 1. So here is where the onion skin, like I said earlier, comes in. Once the onion skin is activated, I am now in frame 2 and able to see what's in frame 1. So here I'm gonna draw my second cycle right below the first cycle in frame 1. So once I've got the second cycle, I move over to the third cycle over here. So I'll draw the third cycle right also under the second cycle in frame 2. So now once all those things all the cycles are all drawn, then if you play it on, you see it just looks like a ball, a bouncing ball that's going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's just a smooth animation. That's just the importance of frame. Frame 1 have a ball on top, frame 2 have a ball in the middle, while frame 3 have a ball in the last part. And if you play it, it just looks like a ball going up and down. Now how about we discuss about layers, but that will be in the next video. That's in the part 2. We'll be discussing about layers. So if you haven't, please do remember to like my video. You could just subscribe to my channel for you to be notified and for you to get more videos like this.